this module, you will learn the elements of a bot and its structure. It is important to see all of the pieces before you see how they fit together. The first section will give you an in-depth view of all the moving parts, with the second section demonstrating how they all fit together. So let's dive in.
Okay, so this is the main Chatfuel interface. I think the best way to describe it is kind of like a choose your own adventure that you used to, those books that you used to read when you were a kid. This allows you to create different stories for the user, and depending on which options they choose, they get presented with a different scenario. And what we have in here are blocks, and each block is what Chatfuel uses to create the story. So depending on what option you choose, they would get led to a different story or a different block. And what we're going to go through in this module is the basic structure of each of those blocks. Before we link our stories together, we need to actually create the stories. And the way that you do that with a bot is through something called a card. And there are various different types of cards, and we're going to go through a few of the most popular ones now and then just demo how each one of them works. Okay, we're going to create a text card. This is the simplest one, and we're just going to create a simple version of it. We're just going to write, "How are you?" and then click off, and we're going to test it. So we'll go over here. And there you go, we just got the pop-up saying, "How are you?" Next, we're going to add a button to our text card. So we just click Add Button and enter name. And we're just going to go, the URL and the phone call are pretty self-explanatory. Whatever we put in here would lead to another URL. We're going to actually make it go to a block. So this will give you an idea of the ability to choose your own adventure. So first we're going to create another block, and we'll just call it test block. And we're going to create the text box or text card. Just a plain one right here. And we're going to we're just going to say, "I hope you are doing great." Okay, so we'll go back to our original welcome message, and it says, "How are you?" We're going to add a block here. So the block that we want to link to is the test block that we just created. See how it automatically appears. And the button that we want to do is click to continue. Okay, so that's perfect. Not going to worry about the case sensitiveness. And now we're going to go ahead and test it, and you'll see exactly how that works. So we'll go over here. We've got our text box here. It's already open. It says, "How are you?" and click to continue. So we click to continue, and then it says, "I hope you are doing great," which is exactly what we wrote on the other screen. Okay, next we're going to do gallery. The gallery card is unique in that it's the only one that you can share. So if you want to share with somebody else, you want to share a URL, this is the one that you should be using. We're not going to do that in this example, but we'll be covering that later. So first we'll do is we'll upload an image. We have this. We want square. Get that Instagram effect. So you can crop it in here. It has a pretty decent photo editor. This is why I like Chatfuel. Not only is it free to use each month, but they really do put some effort into their interface. Okay, so it's done, and then we type in a quote. Put awesome quote there. And then we'll add another image. And what this does is it just allows you to scroll through them. Let's see what we have here. Do not steal, that'll be good. Yep, we'll leave that. Don't steal. And we'll add a third just for good measure. I think we have this one. Let's see what it is. I think it's just an Amazon logo. So we'll do that. Write Amazon there. Okay, and then we're ready to test it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and test it. We just click on this link here, and with any luck it'll pop up right here with the message. Takes a couple of seconds, and there you go. That's the image. And we can scroll through each one that we created. And if we created the ability to share it, you'd be able to click on it and hit share. Or if it was a URL that we'd put in, you'd be able to go to a different URL for each image. For a good example of this, you can go to 1-800-Flowers. They have an awesome chat box that does this. Moving on to the next one. Okay, next we're going to create an image. An image similar to the gallery, except it's a single. And you have no options to click anything other than the image. So we're just going to use this one. There's no customer interaction with this one. So we can crop it if we want to. Just do that. Hit done. And there it is. And then we're going to preview our image. You just click there. And it'll pop up. Now you can use an image to just display a series of pictures of your product if you wanted to, just to make it more appealing for people, I guess. Okay. Okay, next we're going to create a list. This is good for displaying multiple product images or products with links one after another. So we're going to go ahead and just create it here. Click on list. You can add a cover image if you want to. We'll go ahead and do the Amazon one. And we'll do the heading, Amazon product. And we'll go ahead and put a URL in here. We're just going to send them all to Amazon. You can put different URLs when you were creating this for real. So in a real product, you'd put the actual link. And you don't need to click add button to make it clickable. So next we're going to add another image. So we'll go ahead and just do this one again. And the heading is buy this quote. And we're going to send people to Amazon.com again. And then next, we're going to do another image. So let's just try this one. Trivia game. So we'll just go ahead and put a trivia game there, and the URL is still going to be .com. Okay, and as I said before, this would be useful if you were creating basically a bunch of variations that people could choose from to purchase from Amazon using your coupon code, or if you'd send them to an ad and you want to display more detail, because they'd naturally see this. Okay, so next we're going to go ahead and add a quick reply. This is one of the most useful functions in a bot because it can actually capture the user's response and save it to a database. The reason that this is useful is you can create your broadcast list from people's responses. So if you would ask them if they wanted to be alerted if you're going to go live, you can ask them the question yes or no and then store the response. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Before every quick reply, you need to have a some sort of question or some sort of message to the user so that they can reply to it. And you can do that through a text or a gallery. We're going to use a text here. So first we're going to write, do you want to be notified when we go live? Okay, so a simple question. And then we're going to go ahead and add the quick reply. We don't need to do anything with the add button here. This in here, the user attribute, this is just where we're going to save this. Think of this as kind of like a basket with the answers. And there'll be yeses or nos, but they're sorted. So we're going to call this attribute live subscribe. We'll just live sub. So that's just the name of our basket. And then in that basket, we're going to put answers in there. So the first one would be yes. And the second one would be no. And you can actually redirect them to another block if you wanted to. So people who said yes, you can send them one way, and people who said no, you could send them another way. But for the purpose of this, we're not going to do that. We're just going to just leave it like that. We'll put a text at the end and say, thanks. It doesn't really apply to the no people, but just for the purposes of this demo, it'll do just fine. Okay, and now we're ready to test it. So we just go ahead and click on this link, and it should pop up. And there you go. Do you want to be notified when we go live? And no matter what we click, we're going to get the same answer. So click yes, and it'll actually save our results. So it goes thanks, and the results are saved. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to talk about is the typing. You'll be using this a lot. Basically, what this does is it just makes it seem like someone's typing on the other end. It's a good effect. You get these little dots if you see them going like that. I normally change it to 4 seconds on every message. What it does is it makes the text message not come all at once. So not the text message, your Facebook message come all at once. And it just looks a lot better. You can also, if you click on the plus, they have all these Chatfuel plugins. I'll just quickly go through the ones that you're likely to use and ones that we're going to use in this. The JSON API is what we're going to use to connect to the coupon codes, and we'll show you how that works later. It's also how we do custom scripts, but that requires some programming to use. The user input is useful to capture information and just store it into a database. And then you can use the send email when you do an email capture. So you guys can just play around with them. They're actually self-explanatory when you end up playing around, but you can set a user attribute. You can do a go to a specific block. But for the purpose of this, which is basically selling your products online, I don't think those will be necessary, and most people won't use them. Okay, in this module we're going to show you the basic structure of a bot. This is how each block connects to each other. Think of the blocks as the parts of your story in your Choose Your Own Adventure, and each block can lead you to a different place and tell a different story. So we're going to just do a simple survey bot to find out whether someone's an animal lover. This will make a good example. We're going to use the welcome bot. So basically within bots, there's always going to be a welcome message and there's always going to be a default answer. The welcome message basically tells you is the first message that a user sees when they interact with your bot, and the default answer is how the bot replies when the user types something that the bot wasn't programmed to respond to. So they can both be useful. We're going to start here with a welcome message, and we're just going to enter some text. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do you like dogs? Okay, and we're going to add two options here. Going to add yes and no. We can save the answers here. We'll go ahead and do that so we can show you later. We'll do likes dogs. We've already created that one. So if someone punches no or no, they would, in the likes dog basket or field, it would say likes dogs, no. So when we're saving this information, if it was Anna that was filling out the survey, the information would be stored as the name is Anna, and in the like dogs field, no. She actually does like dogs, so it would be yes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create two blocks. So we're going to add a group here, and we're going to call it likes dogs. You don't have to create a group. This just keeps it nice and orderly, so we know that this is going to be linked to this. And the blocks that we're going to create are dogs no, and then we're going to do dogs yes. And we can move these around if we want to. We'll put that one, there we go, just to keep it the same as that. So we have yes and no. Now what we have to do is we have to link this block, this welcome message block here, to these answers here. And the way you do that is you just click on here, enter the block name that you want to connect to, and we're going to select dogs yes. So yes leads us to dogs yes, and no leads us to dogs no. So there we go, we've done that one. And so now we need to answer or ask the next question. So we're going to go to dogs no. We're going to leave dogs yes for now. And we're going to ask the people that said no to liking dogs if they like cats. So we'll add this in here. Do you like cats? And we're going to go ahead and do another quick reply. And again, we're going to put yes. And we're going to put no. So, got those two. And we're going to add another group here. And we're going to call it likes cats. And we're going to add two blocks again. So cats yes. And but you can't guess what this one's going to be. cats? No. And then we have to go back here. This is in the dogs. No. And we can link this to do you like cats? Cats, yes. And then do you like cats? Cats, no. And then what we're going to do is go ahead and create an answer here. So at the moment, the only way that you could possibly have got to this answer is if you'd said no to dogs and no to cats. So we're going to go ahead and add a oh, so you don't like any animals. And that's the response that they're going to get when they follow through with this. So now we're going to go ahead and test it, and I'll show you exactly how this will work. Okay, we're going to go ahead and test this bot. There's a couple of ways of doing it. We're just going to create a link. This is something that you can use to insert on a page or something. So you just click link, hit done, and then you can just click on the link and it'll open up in Facebook Messenger. So the bot should execute fairly quickly. And here it comes. Do you like dogs? And it's going to give us the option of yes or no. We're going to go ahead and write no. Do you like cats? We're going to say no to that, and then it should give us, oh, so you don't like any animals. And that is how you do that display. So it's fairly easy to connect the box. You can go on as long as you want. You can double back. You could put people in an infinite loop if you really wanted to. You could put images in there. Any of the elements that we showed you in the last, at the beginning of this module, you can put in there. Okay, so we're going to move on.
Okay, well that concludes this module. We'll see you in the next one.